RBG or RBF? Sisters, you have to make a decision. My best Dr. Umar in my best Dr. Umar Johnson impression. Sisters, if you are listening to me, either you are RBG or you are RBF. Well, let me put it like this. If you are RBF, you are my enemy. Straight up like that. And when I say RBF, we're talking about radical black feminists. These people are like, it's shocking because seeing how they operate, it's like I'm living in an ultimate dimension, like an alternate timeline where I'm not even looking at racist white cops as the biggest deterrent in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at them, the stuff that they say, the stuff that they stand on. I'm literally like, wow. Meanwhile, like how I grew up, like I had suspect Caucasian teachers that would do certain stuff. And even then, I would never hear the hatred that they have, the hatred that radical black feminists have for black men is something I ain't never seen this type of hatred before. And it's in 2023 to have that kind of hatred for black men, it's something that I've told you I've never seen before. When I saw the news, right? They said a suspect captured after attempting to burn down Martin Luther King Jr.'s childhood home. For some reason, I had a feeling it was a black woman that did this. I don't know what it, because the way it was on Twitter, the way my Twitter is set up, stuff like this be popping up, and I was just like, please don't tell me it was one of our sisters, please. But it's ATL because I knew it wasn't nobody white. I knew that. I'm like, it's in ATL, and plus I knew like white people be touring that thing, taking pictures and shit and whatnot. So I'm literally like, then the first video I saw was the clip with the black dude over the person, and it wasn't clear who the person was. Now, the only type of person they would allow a black man to be on top of like that on a citizen's arrest is either another black man or a black woman. Now, I know there's literally zero. If they caught a black man doing this, it would be on the news, and it would have been, people would have been all over it on Twitter, and it would have been like they caught this man, and he was being used as a psyops to start to incite a race war. Now, once I saw it was a black woman, and there were still white people in the comments, she was being used as to start to incite a race war, and that is the most plausible answer to this thing, but I don't think so. I could be wrong, but what a lot of people are very ignorant to is this new radical black feminist movement. That's what I like to call it. That's what Dr. Umar Johnson called it. Radical black feminists, and they are on some different shit. They are on some, like, they're just on some different shit. I've never seen stuff like this before, So, enough about me. Enough about me. In my opinions on this matter. Let's take a listen.
Witnesses say that is the suspect in the act holding that red canister, the 26-year-old woman.
That's the video. That's the first clip I saw. And they didn't blur her out. But I was just like, wow. And it was basically the black man doing a citizen's arrest, and then white people had called the cops on her.
Has been arrested.
And they had caught her in broad daylight too doing this. That's why I don't think this was a psyops.
Of attempting to vandalize Martin Luther.
Like when they mean like people were on Twitter talking about they were attempting to create a false flag. I don't believe that. Even though it's very plausible for this situation, I don't think that's what it was.
Jr.'s birth home here in Atlanta. This home here along Auburn Avenue has been undergoing renovations, so has been closed to the public for the last couple weeks. Witnesses told police the woman came up to the home carrying a gas can before 6 p.m. They say that she then proceeded to douse the plants and porch with what they say smelled like gasoline. The bystanders, who included 2 off-duty NYPD witnesses, say.
So, And I hope they show the video of her. Oh.
That is the suspect.
Yeah, that's the video. That's the other video that I saw of her, basically just in broad daylight, and they have her on video, just putting the gasoline on the house, all over the spot.
The act holding that red canister, the 26-year-old woman, has been arrested, accused of.
And that's why I think this is RBF is involved, because they're saying 26-year-old. Now I told you, like, Gen Z sisters are not. I will say this: if there are older white conservative men following me, hear me out on this. The pro-black women that you guys grew up with are not the same pro-black women that you see from today. The pro-black women from the 90s were very pro-black man, very pro we all need to stick together, very very anti-white man, very anti-white women. They were very like pro-black, like for real, like different world. You know what I mean? Pro-black. The pro-black woman, like there's not a whole lot of pro-black dudes growing up now. The pro-black women that you see today, they are pro-black woman only. I'm talking about just pure pro-black women only, and they think that white feminists are their allies. That's the new pro-black woman coming up today. These are not the same pro-black women from the 90s that you was just like, oh man, this girl, boy. You know, with the whole Afro thing and whatnot. Now, they're different. They're different. It's not the ones that you guys grew up with.
To vandalize Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth home here in Atlanta. This home here along Auburn Avenue has been undergoing renovation, so has been closed to the public for the last couple weeks. Witnesses told police the woman came up to the home carrying a gas can before 6 p.m. They say that she then proceeded to douse the plants and porch with what they say smelled like gasoline. The bystanders, who included 2 off-duty NYPD witnesses, say that is the suspect in the act holding that red canister.
Of course, the big question left here is why. Well, Atlanta police are still
that's what we're going over right now. I already told you, but
investigating the reason behind. But we also talked to a man here on site earlier who says he was is the father of that suspect in this case. He says she is a veteran who is having a mental health episode. And
now that's interesting. So she does have a father. Now, I would like to know how long he's been in her life. I would like to know, when did he get custody of that girl? And they're saying that she's a veteran that's suffering. Interesting enough, mother not there. Interesting. I'm going to have to look into that.
We're trying to find her for the past 2 days. Of course, that will come into play with any potential prosecution as this moves forward. Of course, the big question left.
I would like to know her story. But yeah, because that was the first initial post. And people were saying that, oh, a white person did this. I'm like, nah. Nah. Then I went to sleep, went up, video pops up. Lo enough and behold, it's a sister, man. That's sad. Now that's sad. Now let's look at these comments. Okay, let's look at the report. According to Fox 5 Atlanta, early Friday, Atlanta police identified the suspect as 26-year-old Lanisha Shatrice Henderson. She was booked into Fulton County Jail and has been charged with arson in the second degree and interfering with government property. Federal charges could be possible as the home is federal property. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. WSB TV's Michael Duna reported that a man claiming to be the father of the suspect said that she was a veteran who was having a mental health episode at the time of the incident, and they had been attempting to find her for the past 2 days. The King Center released a statement after the incident and said, fortunately, the attempt was unsuccessful thanks to the brave intervention of Good Samaritans and the quick response of law enforcement. We thank the Atlanta Police Department, Atlanta Fire Department, the National Park Services, and Mayor Andre Dickens for leading the efforts to ensure the safety of our cherished national landmark and its adjacent neighbors. Our prayers are with the individual who allegedly committed this criminal act. So you see, like, most of the comments is from black people like, oh, hell no. Yeah. He said, not she's black and white people call the police on her for trying to burn down MLK's home. What kind of alternate reality is this? Yeah. Somebody said, I thought that was a white woman. The fuck was she thinking? Like I said, it's, yeah, you know, that's what I'd be saying. If you're growing up the type of person blaming white people for all your problems, you're going to be shocked and stuff like that. Like me personally, I am not shocked that this is a black woman. Because once I saw the headline, I'm like, please don't tell me it's a black woman. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised. Somebody said anybody else annoyed it's a sister. But like, I don't know if they wanted it to be a white person. I don't know. They said, all jokes aside, we need to be taking mental health very seriously. Yeah. Well, like I said, if we actually took mental health seriously, we wouldn't be having people like, the black female therapist that started the OnlyFans. We wouldn't be having therapists like this as the norm. Most of these mental health therapists and these therapists in general are not doing their jobs properly. I can already tell. It's like, it reminds me of the teachers I grew up with. Is just, they're not doing a good job. Oh man. Now, why aren't you white? Like, I don't know what is this thing. I guess I don't know if black people wanted the person to be white to do this. First of all, it makes no sense for it to be a white person, because it would be, first of all, when we talk about false flags and stuff like that, it'd be too obvious. It'd be way too obvious. And by the way, it's ATL. So like, that's all. Just like, there's no way it could be a white person. So I'm like, who is that underneath that dude's like stronghold? And I'm like, yeah, that's a black woman. So it's sad. It's really sad. But I already told you what I believe in the beginning. I believe, because it was a lot of people. Let me tell you this before what I say. I believe it was basically the general consensus on Twitter from white people and black people, but mostly white people, is that she was sent to incite a race riot, meaning she was going to burn up MLK's home. Nobody was supposed to know who did it. And then it happened to be NYPD, off-duty NYPD at the scene, right? But basically, in their hypothesis is that she was going to incite something. Nobody was going to know it was her that put the engulfed MLK's childhood home in flames, and then they were going to pin it on a white dude. That was the general consensus on Twitter. But I don't think it's that deep. I think we have a RBF problem, like a serious RBF problem, where MLK's been catching a lot of slack from our own, literally from our own, and including black men themselves on that end. But when you have guys like women like B. Simone and these people talking about how MLK's legacy don't mean shit because he cheated on his wife and whatnot, allegedly, right? And basically women like her tearing down his legacy. And like I said, we already have people getting statues removed, right? You already have the radical left doing that already. The next step is going to be monuments from black male monuments are next. So all the black people that were celebrating radical left people dragging down statues and whatnot, our heroes are next. So do not be surprised if you see a Jackie Robinson monument being vandalized, a Malcolm X, statue being vandalized, male monuments, black male monuments, not black female monuments, black male monuments being targeted, particularly not by white people, but by our own, most likely black trans, which are really men, but black trans and black women that will probably be targeting these particular monuments. I think people need to actually investigate her Twitter, who she's been following on Twitter, who she's been following on Instagram and YouTube, because anytime a dude did something, they was always quick to mention that they was following Andrew Tate and all these people. I need to see who she's been following. I need to see who's on her YouTube, who's on her Instagram, if she's following the Shade Room, spiritual. These things, I need them to do a deep dive into what she is and who she follows. And I'm not going to be shocked the type of people that she's following. And it will probably be something centered around black male hate. That's my hypothesis. That's what I think what's happening with this situation.